Good afternoon, everybody that has joined. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy days to sit in on our chapter meeting. It's a member meeting. As always, these meetings are for you guys. We're here to serve you and provide relevant content that we all can use in our respective organizations. Um, I'll just, again, open up and just say welcome. Thank you guys. Really appreciate everything that you do. It's been an extraordinary past 2 years. Um, it's seemed like yesterday almost, but it looks like we're finally coming around the curve and looking forward to greater things in the future. Um, I will, let's see, I can't see the slides. I mean, I have a completely black screen. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I do have, you sent me the slide deck, so I'll go from there. Um, let's see, I should be on the committee members. So just wanted to introduce the group to our executive board. Um, again, we have various committees that any of our members are welcome to join. Um, most of us are one-man gangs, and we welcome, the assist. Um, I would definitely throw out there that, Sherry did great in 2021, assisting, and that evolved into her taking a greater role on the and has done a great job. So definitely feel free to reach out to any of the committee chairs if there is a certain committee that you feel led to assist on. So we definitely welcome the assist. We have a great team, and we have room for more. Um, I'm going to move to the next slide. So I'm going to take this opportunity to turn it over to Sherry to introduce our dynamic speakers for today's meeting. So Sherry, I'm going to bounce it back over to you.
Okay. Well, today we have the pleasure of having Medline Industries on the call. They're going to be talking about their inclusion and supplier diversity best practices and their tier two spend. They have also invited one of their strategic alliance partners, Ram Surgical. And so we're going to hear a little bit about how they creatively are partnering with Ram Surgical and other diverse suppliers to increase their tier two diversity spend. I'm going to introduce Francisca Brown of Medline and then also Adrian Davis of Ram Surgical. So Francisca is the Director of Inclusion and Diversity for Sales at Medline. And in this role, she leads the efforts to embed inclusion and diversity in every aspect of the business as a competitive advantage. Prior to joining Medline, she was a Senior Director and Field Diversity Inclusion Director at Northwestern Mutual. And then while there, two of her greatest accomplishments were doubling the number of diverse sales representatives and developing niche programming. And before that, she worked at American Family Insurance, and she was the marketing chief of staff and multicultural marketing director. She led operations, budget, procurement, and diverse marketing campaigns. She holds a master's in information resources management from Central Michigan University, where she did her thesis on methodologies to improve teaching techniques and to reduce the learning curve and to increase productivity. And I'm seeing that now a lot with this micro learning. Instead of people taking an hour class, you can actually learn a topic very well in 20 minutes. I would like to also introduce Adrian Davis. He is the founder and CEO of Ram Surgical, and he oversees the day-to-day operations of the company with a special emphasis on customer service and logistics. With nearly 2 decades of medical device and operational experience, Adrian developed a sharp eye for emerging trends in the business of healthcare. He is an entrepreneur in the DFW area, and he provides surgical instrument repairs And then 13 years ago, he decided to focus on and grow disposable medical product lines for RAM Surgical. Adrian and RAM Surgical were featured in a national publication, Black Enterprise Magazine, and he's also a finalist in 2010 for the Small Business of the Year, achieving a 150% increase in company sales. Their clients have ranged from small surgery centers to large healthcare systems operated locally and nationally. Prior to starting RAM Surgical, Adrian held positions as Regional Sales Director and National Account Manager. He holds a BS in Health Science from San Jose State University. And now I would like to turn it over to Francisca.
Well, thank you for having me today. I did want to talk about Medline and our philosophy around supplier diversity. We've actually been in supplier diversity for a very long time, and it has grown very organically. So I cannot say that we had a overall strategy in place from a corporate setting, but we have a very entrepreneurial setting within our environment that we allow our sales reps to really engage with our customers at a local level to find vendors that are going to suit their needs. And we've done so also with diverse suppliers. And some of those suppliers we've been with for over 30 years. And RAM, who we'll talk about in a little bit, we've been with them over 15 years. So very impressive from just the partnerships that we have created and in a very authentic way. Medline, one of the things that I would say is that it's been very good business for us from the standpoint of just anticipating some of the needs. So some of the things that are coming our way from our customers is really around what is Medline doing not only to attract diverse suppliers, but are there even opportunities to train them up? And so as we're starting to build out our full diversity strategy, we are looking at all those various pieces beyond just getting local suppliers, but what kind of programming can we put in place that will allow us to really have a strong partnership in the space of developing, procuring, and also building them up so they not only have a space within Medline, but with building their company out totally. So as you see with some of our core values, it really is about creating a better understanding, anticipating needs, and surpassing expectations across our organization and across our footprint across the country. It is working with small, minority-owned, women-owned, veteran-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned, and hub-zone enterprises. And we're definitely going to be fostering a win-win relationship in anything that we do. And I think we've demonstrated that even in the manner that we've actually at a grassroots level grown our supplier diversity to this point and willing to take it now to the next level. If we can go to the next slide, that'd be great. Hi, Sherry, can we go to the next slide?
I know, it's just kind of a little lag, I apologize.
No worries.
Just gets locked up. There we go.
All right. So some of the things I also want to just outline and just showcase is the fact that approximately 16% of our overall spend is with our small and diverse vendors at Medline. We're very proud of that, to have over 4,000 of our vendors that are in this space. Some examples of some of our diverse suppliers: women-owned are in our Medicare billing, different products. So from shampoo all the way down to aloe gloves. Within our minority business enterprises, we're doing skin scrub trays, non-sterile kits. We even work with vendors that are actually taking our kits out of the hospitals, cleaning them, refurbishing them so that we can reuse them. We also do from a standpoint of our accessories, zinc oxide gowns, and the one that is not new to us, but we are actually working with one of our vendors who works with blind employees, and they actually take our Medline brand, rebrand it, and are able to sell our products under their own brand. So, and we do that mostly with the government. So it's a very, like, just from that standpoint of really working across in unique ways to do things has been very advantageous for us. And with that, just giving you a high level view of Medline and our supplier diversity, what I really want to showcase and highlight is Adrian and the work that he's done, and that we're very proud of this relationship. So I just want him to talk about his relationship and how he's grown RAM Surgical.
Let me unmute here first. Thanks, Francesca. Appreciate it. The intro. Yeah, I wanted to, first step back and just definitely confirm what Francesca just talked about. 15, well, actually, I guess more than 15 years ago, I was approached by a young man named David Wright, and he came and wanted to meet with me because we were kind of battling over at one of the hospitals, and I had won a contract, and he's like, man, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And from the very first day that we met, I mean, he really talked about, hey, what's some innovative ways that not necessarily we can work against each other, but how can we work together? You obviously have got some things going, and we want to work with you. So this is what I like about Medline, is that this was even before they quote unquote had a diversity initiative. David's mindset from the jump was, hey, let's find a way to increase diversity spend. Let's find a way to go into these hospitals arm in arm and really, present different opportunities that can work for the customer as well as Medline and RAM Surgical. So I founded RAM Surgical 20 years ago. And one of the things that I started with was basically surgical instrument repair. It took about 5 years of doing that before I got an opportunity to really start looking at how I can expand in the market. Looking around, realizing that there were no minority-owned companies that worked in the med space in terms of disposable medical supplies, I really just kind of decided, you know what, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to jump into that space. And since then, of course, being Hub certified, worked with Vizient through the distribution of becoming a part of a GPO, growing the business, being featured over the years, we have actually grown into the largest African-American owned manufacturing distributor in disposable medical supplies in all of North Texas. So that's just been a real unique spot for me. We manufacture, go ahead and go to the next slide. Those are a list of our customers. Our largest customer actually is the Methodist Health System. We service all of their large hospitals and a lot of their smaller surgery centers as well. But as you can see, it's pretty diverse. We deal with JPS, Texas Health Resources, Baylor. We have varying contracts with a lot of other customers, really around the space of disposable medical supplies. Next slide. So we are located in Duncanville. We have a 20,000 square foot distribution center. It's located in the southern sector of Dallas. We do simultaneous inbound and outbound operations. We are vertically integrated in that I do my own manufacturing as well as distribution. I have a full line of trucks and vans. We do a lot of same day service. If our customers call us that same day, we're able to get product to their dock within a few hours here in the Metroplex. We also service just right outside the Metroplex, and we have a couple of hospitals in Philadelphia and California that we provide services for as well. I think the unique thing about RAM Surgical is that, and I think what David appreciated was that we were not a pass-through company. We were an actual standalone company. We have our own products. We have our own trucks, vans, manufacturing, distribution center. So we are a very, very, very small version of a Medline, Cardinal, and Owens. But with that, again, I think what happens is that Medline saw the opportunity, said, hey, let's partner, let's do some things together, and then we go from there. Oh, our biggest project that was David's brainchild was a glove project. So Medline years ago came to me and said, "Hey, why don't we look at doing a nitrile glove in the Ram Surgical brand so that we can approach some hospitals." I think that's one of the biggest projects that we've worked on. Obviously, it hadn't come to fruition yet, but we haven't given up on it. Since that time, we've also gotten into a recycle partnership with Medline, as well as the renewal program. We provide the staffing that they need for the Medline renewal program, where they go out to the various hospitals and they have various instruments like pulse oximeters, pulse oxes, laps instruments, just a variety of different renewable items. And then also we have a kitting program that we're working with them at Parkland, where they manufacture the circumcision kits on behalf of Ram Surgical. And then Ram Surgical goes in and picks up those instruments and gets them back to the recycling company. So again, just a really strong partnership that we've been able to develop with Medline over the last 15 years. And I think the future is extremely bright in terms of what we can do as a partner. Okay, one more slide. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, here we go. Just these are products that Ram Surgical manufactures. I mean, if you look, we have a full line. We've got about 85 different product lines that are disposable items that we work, with hospitals. They come to us again, OR towels, lap sponges, cadaver bags. We have a large contract with the Baylor Health System. We provide the entire Baylor Health System with all of their cadaver bags, going from infant all the way through adult and obesity cadaver bags. We do it for the entire healthcare system. So we have contracts like that where we have one product that we do for a whole system. And then you have a hospital system like the Methodist Health System of Dallas, where we do 65 different product lines. In addition to those 65 different product lines, our customers will come to me and say, "Hey, listen, there is an item that we want to get from Medline. Would you mind distributing it for us?" So we also distribute about $500,000 worth of Medline branded products through our distribution channel as well. So we'll load those products up on a Ram Surgical truck and get them distributed to the hospitals as well. So it's a combination of things that we do in being a vertically integrated company. All right, I think that's my last slide.
Thank you, Adrian. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up for questions. I've got a couple of questions, but definitely I want to hear from some of the members of our audience. So if you have a question, go ahead and unmute your mic and then remute yourself, and then either Adrian or Francisca will answer that for you.
This is Tim Martin. I'll go ahead and ask a question. I'm very familiar with RAM and the things that they've done over the years. The question I have is, what have you guys done in regards to producing a supply diversity program of your own? Meaning, what smaller companies have you assisted or paid it forward to, and what did that process look like?
Okay, well, there's not, believe it or not, I think that's one of the issues that we have in diverse companies, is that many of them start so small and are underfunded and undercapitalized that it's just a very difficult thing. But I do have a couple of partners that I have partnered with and that have smaller items. I have one gentleman by the name of John Davis who does a recycling kit that he does for the defibrillators that he uses. So I will take him in and introduce him to some of the customers that I've got connections with, and just have him do his pitch. I think as small diverse vendors, we all just kind of play off of each other, and whatever contacts, whatever inroads you may have with another hospital or a hospital system, it oftentimes just gets put out there, hey, listen, Adrian's in pretty tight with the Methodist Health System. If you are looking to get over there, give him a call and he can walk you in, or at least give you the contacts of the individuals that you would need to talk to. So one of the things that I have found is just giving those contacts out are the best things. I got another buddy of mine that does staffing, and giving him those contacts at Methodist, giving those contacts at Baylor, just to kind of help him get in the door. As you can see by my list, most of the things that I do are in the space of disposable medical supplies. So it's really in the supply chain. So if there's other minorities out there that are looking to get into the supply chain space, I've always been open in terms of helping them get moving in the right direction. But in particular, I don't have a per se diversity program. Being a diverse vendor myself, I don't have one myself. So still looking to grow. We got to grow business.
Are there other questions from the audience? So one of the questions I had for Francisca, I wanted to just talk about your supplier diversity or inclusion and supplier diversity efforts. Can you talk about, if we're looking forward 2022, 2023, what are some efforts and strategies and programs that you all are putting together for to increase diversity in your vendor space?
So right now, what we're looking at is specifically just identifying, I'm going to be very clear and honest, just identifying the number of local suppliers that we currently have and what are some of those opportunities. So we're actually partnering with a lot of our customers to identify some of those local customers. The other thing that that we have not taken advantage of, that I definitely want to take advantage of, is just relationships with the local chambers and organizations locally that can actually give us a ton of lists of local suppliers in the medical field. Another consideration that we're looking at right now is Morehouse has a innovator program, and this year they're sponsoring a number of minority-owned businesses with where their minimum was $1 million, and they're all in the medical supply field, but they're working with them to get contracts with companies like us. So I'm looking at how do we get involved with Morehouse and what they're doing so that we can become part of programs like that and we can give our expertise and those types of things. So what I'm looking for is what are those programs out there that we can attach to that I know are really good programs from prior life and working with other companies, but also from the standpoint of looking for what is out there locally that if they're not ready, how do we help them get ready? So we're in the process of aggregating all the data that we have right now on all the diverse suppliers so that we have a very good look and feel for who they are. And then what are we going to next do that to really execute on what that means to our local customers?
Okay, so it sounds like, just from what you said, you have an issue with identifying diverse suppliers. Is there, I guess, is there a way to kind of match those, once you identify those suppliers, is there a way to match those suppliers to the needs that you all have, or to introduce them to your business units or that need those suppliers?
Yes, and that's exactly what I mean by we're on this journey of creating that strategic framework. We don't have that in place right now where you can just fill out a form, tell us about your business, what you're trying to accomplish. And then as we go through RFPs, we can definitely have you in part of our list. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, but
Oh, you cut it, your sound cut out just for.
sorry, that's going to definitely be more of a 2023 as we start to build out what some of those systems look like in our company, because right now it's very manual. So I have a bucket list of things that we want to accomplish, but yes, we definitely need to have those matching tools, definitely want to have a database where our new vendors can come to us and say, this is what we supply, this is what we do, and how do we match it with what we need.
Okay. Okay. So
The
definitely,
other
it sounds like, Go ahead. Go ahead.
The
This
other,
year, you want to partner with chambers and different organizations, and then go ahead and tell us what some of your other plans are.
I think the other thing is coming to us with unique ideas. I think that's key. And why I say that is sometimes it's positioning. So one of our hospitals in Detroit Ascension, it wasn't really about that. We needed a new product. We needed a more inclusive product. So one of the things that you will find at hospitals is that they tend to use base shampoos, lotions, but for people with melanated skin, that may not be the solution. So we actually partner with them to use our remedy line, right? So what are some of those, I would say, as also a vendor coming in, what are some of those things that we may have missed as a company that you can help us create opportunities around? So don't just also look at it from a standpoint of here's what I offer as a service, but what are some of those unique opportunities? I think that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, is how do we get that innovation started, looking beyond just what you currently supply.
And that goes along the lines of kind of what Adrian was saying. He saw a gap, he saw a need, and then he went on to fill that need. Adrian, what would you say were some of the pain points that you had in growing your business and finding, who to talk to and finding those decision makers?
I would say, believe it or not, the biggest pain point was the perception that a small minority-owned company could not handle the sheer volume of what a large IDN puts out. And I have to admit there is some truth to that. Unfortunately, it's a huge mountain to overcome. And here I am, 18 years in the game, and I still have people or hospitals that'll go, I don't know. We've never done that before. We've never seen that before. So to me, that's where my partnerships with a Medline really come in handy, is that I can go in arm in arm with them and say, hey, listen, if you don't feel comfortable giving a small minority-owned company that contract, how about if that contract is backed by a company you do feel comfortable with, like a Medline? And that has worked on several occasions. But the biggest thing for me is because I'm a standalone corporation, I am constantly fighting the idea or the premise that if they do business with me, something's going to go wrong. Even though I'm 18 years in the game, even though I manufacture my own products, even though I've been doing it for a long time, it still is a very hard road to get a larger hospital to give me a product that what I could consider are non-ancillary products. So in other words, hospitals, I'll just use Parkland for an example. A large hospital like Parkland, they don't mind doing business with a minority that has, let's say I'm doing office supplies or janitorial supplies, things that they can kind of overlook but in the main line of business that I do, like for example, isolation gowns, gloves, isolation stethoscopes, items that if they run out or if I run out, the hospital's in a bad position. It's a very tough sell, and it's been a tough sell, even though I have a large system like Methodist that I distribute all of the gloves system wide, all of the isolation gowns system wide, and had been doing it for over 15 years with no problems, through Ebola, through COVID, with no issues. Other than obviously that, we had everybody had issues when COVID first hit, but getting past those just been my biggest thing. So that I would say that would be the definite largest challenge that I've had, is getting past the perception that we cannot handle the sheer volume that a hospital puts out.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to give each of you, Francisca and Adrian, 30 seconds to kind of wrap up, or to let the audience know, something about, perseverance, or something about just anything you want them to know about your company while they're thinking about their final questions, and then we'll move on with the rest of our meeting. So Francisca, I'll let you go first, and then Adrian, you can close.
I think the best thing to know about Medline is that we do have, even as a company as big as we are today, we still have a very strong entrepreneurial spirit, and we welcome that in the people that we work with. So if you have that type of mindset and you're looking to partner with a company that also has that mindset, I would definitely persevere from a standpoint of, if it's a no today, it may not be a no tomorrow. Don't give up, and always work on your spiel and your pitch and work how you're angling it and what works now. What worked yesterday may not work, but it may work in the future based on what our needs are. So I would also say, in this field, keep your ear to the ground of what's going on, because you may be able to fulfill a need that we're missing a gap on that we may not even know about yet. So perseverance, resilience is key, I think, in this business, because Adrian is right. Sometimes people don't want to try it because you're an unknown, but I think also because with our company, we are risk takers. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, that's us, and we'll partner with you.
Okay, thank you. Adrian?
Yeah, I would have to echo that. As an entrepreneur that has been through a lot of ups and downs over the last 20 years in trying to grow my business and growing it into the largest African American owned company here in North Texas, it is not easy. You do have uphill battles, but if you stay the course, if you're creative in the products that you sell, I think one of the things that I didn't get a chance to talk about was that when I looked at my product lines, I went with low hanging fruit. And what I mean by low hanging fruit, those are items that are easily converted: patient belonging bags, isolation stethoscopes, items that you can put side by side with competitors, and a hospital can look at it and say, oh, okay, you know what? You're 10, 15% lower than what we're buying. It's a low risk item. We'll go ahead and buy those items from you. And so that helped me to grow my business. And then the last thing I would say is service, service, service. You got to, I strongly believe in servicing my customers. It is not uncommon that I'll get a call at 4:30 on Friday that someone forgot to order something, and they get a hold of me or one of my staff members, and we get them those items that same day. So I think that's what I cut my teeth on and built my reputation on, is providing excellent service, having the right price, the right product at the right time has been my keys to success.
All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna ask one more time, do we have any questions? I cannot see the chat, so Mary or Tim, if you all can see the chat, if there are any questions in the chat, go ahead and read those for us.
Can I just make a statement?
Yes.
I'm Joseph Espinoza. I'm with Abbott Nutrition here in Dallas, Texas. Service a lot of the hospitals here in the DFW market. We do the infant formula products. And I just wanted to say kudos to both of you. You had a great presentation today. And I love the fact that I grew up in Oak Cliff, and it's nice to see inclusion and businesses in Duncanville growing. And that spoke volumes to me. I love seeing that growing, and the fact that you've taken your business, Adrian, and grown it is amazing. And Francisca, the chance that you took a chance on Adrian and the business, and that partnership has shown for this long, and he's earned that business, and what he said there at the end just spoke to me. So I just wanted to say thank you both for working together to make patients and customers the number one reason why you do what you do. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sherry, I don't see any other questions in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Well, that concludes our presentation. I definitely want to thank Francisca, and Adrian and the Medline team. There are a lot of people behind the scenes working to pull this together, so thank you for that. And I also want to announce the National AHRMM Conference. The annual conference is coming up in August. It's going to be in Anaheim. It's going to be a great event, a lot of learning, a lot of continuing education credit. So I would definitely encourage you to attend that, to save the dates, and to attend that conference. And then the next meeting we will have It will be on May 19th, and it will be an Excel presentation. Taylor will be giving that. I'm not sure the exact title of it, but mark your calendar for May 19th to learn more about Excel and how you can use that in your supply chain day-to-day working. And that is all that we have for today. I thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.